Niaje watu wangu, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Anonymous Team, the man, the myth, the legend. And recently, or rather as early as yesterday, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua made some very shocking claims that William Ruto is doing business with the RSF leader, Chief Hemedti, and that they are smuggling gold from Sudan to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, then transporting them to Dubai. Let's just listen to what he had to say first, and then we can comment on this.
Allow rebels who have been slapped with international sanctions because of the genocide to meet in government facilities in Nairobi. You have heard Sudan now is threatening to stop our tea going to Sudan. And what is happening is that the president has put his personal and commercial interests ahead of the country's interest. That's the problem that they are. They are doing business with the RSF chief of gold that is being gotten from that area, brought to Nairobi and taken to Dubai.
And you can substantiate
Yes, I can. I have one time. And, diplomatically, the president cannot invite Hemedti here because he was vice president. And he asked me to invite him on his behalf. And he called me and said, sign this letter, invite Hemedti here because I want to have a discussion.
When was this?
Sometime 2023.
Okay.
And I did invite Hemedti and welcomed him and delivered him to the president. There was nothing about Kenya. They were just discussing business, about gold, about such other things.
You were in that meeting?
No, I introduced him and then I was told to leave because it had nothing to do with Kenya.
How do you know this then?
No, I'm saying if it had anything to do with Kenya, I would have started through the meeting. But I'm the one who, after they were through, I'm the one who took him to the airport and I inquired and they are doing business. So it is putting Kenya in very bad light. Very, very bad light. And President William Ruto must accept that he will not be president forever. He cannot destroy this country and the way we are perceived by other nations. He must be a nationalist. He must rise above personal and commercial interests and put the country first. That group has been flagged by the international community and sanctions have been slapped against them for genocide and killing of children. But again, thinking about it, there's a saying that birds of the same feather flock together. They are killing children in Sudan. We are killing children here. So again, there's convergence. I think birds of the same feather flock together. But we are looking very bad. DRC, we have handled it very badly. And in fact, I am told many African presidents are unwilling to get involved in peace initiatives led by President William Ruto because he is conflicted in terms of personal and commercial interests that he has put above national interests.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua ameamua kufa dereva kufa makanga. But we can't put this beneath Ruto. This is the same guy mwenye alinyakua public land, shamba ya shule, and built the Norfolk Hotel. This is a guy that when activists went among those primary school kids and decided to demonstrate for the right to get their land back, the government, of course, with orders from the owner, or rather the person mwenye aligrab your land, tear-gassed little kids. We cannot put this beneath such a guy. But then again, this does not mean that Rigathi is a saint. If he claims that he's the one who went ahead and invited the RSF leader back in 2023, and up until today he knows what transpired in those meetings, why didn't his morality speak to him then? Yeah, why didn't his morality speak to him then? Resign from his position then? He's only bitter now and he's only spilling this tea. He's only spilling these secrets because he's not part of the cake. He's not getting a piece of the cake. But ni sawa tu, I guess this revelations makes wale watu wa shamba, wale watu wa jinga, wenye wanapiganga along tribal lines, wenye wanapiganga along religious lines, wajue the kind of person that we're dealing with. So further ahead, Rigathi Gachagua said that the president knew who abducts people because he knew who to call. Whoever was called released the young men. So what other explanation do you have about it? Let's also listen.
Can you name these
When
abductors?
you
seem to know more than we do. Name these abductors. What building were they using? Because you drop hints.
No. I said in that press conference, the abductions were being done by the National Intelligence Service. I said so.
What building?
The buildings are there.
Which one?
What I didn't want, there are some safe houses.
Well, that's not a secret. Moving further ahead, the former deputy president also said that many times I have offered free advice to the president. When I was in office, I told him not to touch the mountain. Not to touch the mountain. It's interesting how this man still goes back to his tribal rhetoric. This man is not a saint. He might seem like he is for Kenyans at the moment, but he is not. He has his own agenda. So I had told him not to touch the mountain, not to interfere with mountain politics, not to attempt to divide Mount Kenya east and west.
Many times I have offered free advice to the president. And when I was in office, I told him not to touch the mountain. I told him not to interfere with the mountain politics. I told him not to attempt to divide Mount Kenya east and west. He disregarded me, called me primitive, called me retrogressive, called me tribal, called me all manner of names. Today, it has come to pass, he has lost the mountain completely. He is struggling on the tails of Honorable Raila Odinga to sustain his government, to keep it in power. All I was doing when I was in Meru, I was not in any way threatening the president. I was just telling him a statement of fact. 90% of the people of Meru are through with him. The remaining 10%, if he goes ahead to remove Martha Koome as Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, he will lose the other 10%. So I was telling him, there is no need for you to come.
I mean, I don't know. If Raila does support William Ruto in 2027, then we might just as well count this. I don't know. Wait. Wait. Okay, so Raila can support President William Ruto, but will Raila really help Ruto garner the votes that he wants? Because I highly doubt that whether other tribes will follow Raila Odinga this time. Of course, we know that the mountain guys will not follow Raila. If Kalonzo decides to go on his own, I think Raila might decide to endorse Kalonzo. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting, eh? Raila might decide to endorse Kalonzo, and if Rigathi also decides to endorse Kalonzo, then it's a done deal, manze. That will be like the final nail on William Ruto's coffin, you know. But if Raila decides to go support Ruto, Kalonzo decides to go on his own, and Rigathi tries to find his own candidate from, the mountain region, then rest assured, Ruto is winning 100%. Hii nini to take Ruto out of power inataka a unified effort by everyone, manze, cause that guy I don't admire him, but you have to admire the way he plays politics. So yeah, so Rigathi went ahead also and said, when we started the consultation, I thought it would be a Mount Kenya affair, but I had not appreciated the interest my leadership had created in the country. Really? Oh, bro, I don't know. Nani, still, Rigathi is not that guy. Let me just say, Rigathi is still not that guy. Rigathi is still not that guy. I think Uhuru is still the guy. And I think Kikuyus mostly, the people from Mount Kenya will vote based on who Uhuru endorses in 2027, not on who Rigathi endorses.
Available. So let me rephrase the question. What do you tell those who see former President Uhuru Kenyatta's hand in the appointment of Uhuru's men, as they're commonly referred to, some of the CSs we saw recently appointed, Mutahi Kagwe, Liki Nyanjui,
There's no
Kabogo.
problem whether Uhuru had a hand or no hand. To me,
Rigathi went ahead and also said, had President Ruto kept away from that campaign, Raila would have been elected. People hate projects. Raila Odinga was perceived to be a William Ruto project to take him to the AU to sort his political problems in Kenya. Regarding Raila Odinga's loss on the AUC bid, personally, I'd agree with what Kalonzo Musyoka said the other day. Towards the what do you call them? Towards the final days of the AUC voting, President William Ruto said some remarks regarding what is happening between Congo and South Sudan. And I believe this majorly affected Raila Odinga's potential win. Those remarks were reckless. They were unnecessary. Hata iliangengoja after the AUC elections for him to make such remarks, or such claims. What other thing did he say? I'm very religious, but I'm not superstitious. There's a very big difference between being religious and superstitious. People have been claiming that ni damu ya ni damu ya majenzi sijui inalia. No, fuck no, manze. It wasn't Raila. Yes, Raila took advantage of the situation at the time, yada, but he wasn't the one killing the kids in the streets. He wasn't the one giving orders for the kids in the streets to be shot. He wasn't the one giving orders for people to be abducted. Some even turning up dead. Most actually turning up dead. No, we all know who did. But mjamaa anaendelea tu sawa. Anaiba tu kawaida. Watoto wake wanaendelea hizi pesa za wizi tu kawaida. The other dude, matatu yake manifest ilikuwa imeshikwa, and now it's no longer plying that Ongata Rongai route again, it's plying the Embakasi route. Unaona the kind of impunity that is happening. So life, I'm very religious, very, very religious, but I'm not superstitious. Life does not work like that. Evil people don't suffer for their evil deeds. Not all good people not all good people benefit for them being good. You understand? As in, life doesn't give a fuck, bro. Whether wewe ni msimfiti ama whether wewe ni msimbaya. Life doesn't give a fuck. Good people just have it as rough as bad people do. Now, I'm not saying that eti ukue a bad person. It's just that it works for some people to be bad and it doesn't work for others. Same concept. Unaweza pata nini, kuna mtu ameiba for hypothetically, kuna mtu ameiba for many years, never been caught, and hata kama they've been caught, they always find a way to escape. And then years later, after doing all those atrocities, they change, they even become pastor, and they turn a new leaf in life. Naona? And hiyo ingine inabaki story. But kuna mse atenda aibe hata tu the first day umse auawe, a dead, unaona? So for some people it works to be bad, for some people it doesn't. Same concept with Pharaoh. If you're a Christian, you know vizuri sana when Jesus was standing at in the presence of Pilate. Jesus told Pilate, the power you have, you wouldn't have it if it weren't given to you. It was God's will for Pilate to be there at that moment, at that time. That specific Pilate, not any other. It was God's will for Judas to betray Jesus. Not anyone else, not Luke, not Mark. God had other plans for Peter. God had other plans for Mark. God had other plans for Luke. But for Judas, specifically Judas's plan was to betray Jesus. In Jeremiah it says, even before you were in your mother's womb, I knew the plans that I had for you. Plans to prosper you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. And I damn sure do know that Judas was successful in betraying Jesus. And now you're going to sit there and tell me that Judas went to hell for doing God's will. Yes, for you and for you and me it was evil, but for God it isn't. He created him for that sole purpose, to come and betray Jesus. Now why would God create you to come and betray his son and then send you to hell? For what? You didn't ask for it. I think as Christians we need to open our eyes and stop being lied to. William Ruto is the thorn in the flesh of Kenyans. William Ruto is the thorn that has been put in the flesh of Kenyans to torment us, whether we like it or not. So we might pray for this guy to suffer, sijui nini msee, but God alimweka huko atukendeke msee, atufinye kutufinya. Ndo tufunguke macho, tujue kupiga kura venye inafaa. Unaona? So life, in a nutshell, that's what I'm saying. Let me even give you guys another example. Pharaoh. The Bible says clearly, categorically, and God hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not release the children of Israel. God, not Satan. God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And you want to tell me that Pharaoh went to hell? It doesn't make sense for me. The same God who hardened Pharaoh's heart also had the power to soften his heart. You see, this life is futile, is hopeless, is useless without a little bit of excitement. It's like a movie. When you're the producer, when you're the director, when you're the screenwriter of a film, you're writing the protagonist and the antagonist. You write them in and out of that story. You decide for how long they are going to be in this film. You decide the dialogue. You decide whether there's going to be a sequel, whether this cast, whether these characters are going to reappear in the sequel, whether they are going to survive in the prequel, or whether they are going to die. So it's the same thing with life. So stop sitting down there and expecting evil people to suffer. Good people and bad people just have it rough or have it as good. Just have it as rough or have it as good. Good people and bad people, they either have it as rough or as good. There's no way in between. One bad person is going to get cancer. Another good person, very, very good person, is also going to get cancer. Both are going to die from it. One good person is going to live a happy and fulfilled life, get to see their children, their children's children, get to retire in the leafy suburbs probably. And so is another evil person, or bad person if you may. And they are going to live a happy and fulfilled life and die peaceful. That is another good and bad person out there. And also, another evil person is going to go through some challenges, probably maybe get cancer, just as another good person. Get to beat that cancer, get to live to tell the story. You understand? Sahi, an evil person might get knocked by a car on the road. Very evil person. Akifika kwa hospital bed yake, he's going to have the time to reflect, as all human beings do, on their mistakes. Probably make amends for their mistakes before they die. So is another good person. Nani will fall sick. God will give them the opportunity to reflect on their life, their mistakes, and make amends. And also in that same breath, another good person hapo anaombanga, ana fast, anakesha, kibati tu mbaya ajipate tu ile time tu ana make makosa. Probably amwe kwenda club tu siku moja leo huko, vita itoke, apigwe chupa ya kichwa ama apigwe risasi huko na wale mafala. Unaona, adedi kwa sina, hafai kudedia. Life is unpredictable, bro. Life is unpredictable. That's what I'm trying to say. And no human being grows up and chooses to be, okay, maybe some do. But no human being chooses the circumstances that lead them to either be good or evil. They are put there by God. God is the director. God is the producer of the story. So stop sitting down and expecting bad things to happen to bad people and only good things to happen to good people. Life haichagui msee. Life haichagui. So I would only advise you, if you know God. Unajua, we also don't decide whether to be born in a Christian family. But by no means am I an atheist or an unbeliever. I am a Christian through and through. But the Bible says my people perish due to the lack of knowledge. Good thing I'm knowledgeable. These things are not rocket science. Okay? So if you're a Christian, you're a believer, what I can only advise is ask for mercy, beg for mercy. The only thing that you can do is beg for mercy, is plead for mercy. That's the only thing you can do. Okay, but don't sit down expecting it because you're good, because you do good things, that good things will happen to you. We don't plan, we don't know. That person that you call an evil person might have more grace than you who considers yourself the good person. Because kama amekuwa hapo na God, afanye evil for whatever God's grand scheme of all things is, you know, your expectations are just futile. All right. So yeah, so the best thing that we can just do is do our level best. Juu tunafinywa. Nobody likes having that thorn in their flesh. And sahi William Ruto is the thorn. William Ruto is the thorn in the flesh of Kenyans. And since we don't like this thorn in our flesh, since we don't like the discomfort of this pain, the best thing that we can do is tuchukue makura in large numbers. Let's vote out this guy in 2027.